Why do you say that, Father? You aren't afraid, are you?
No, but I respect some of the superstitions of others. Often they are founded in fact.
This is your time. This is your call to arms. For the Cryptid Connection, it's your voice. I'm your host, JJ.
And I'm your host, Steven. Welcome to Cryptid Connection.
Hello. Today we have Russell and Michelle Miller with us, and we are going to be discussing their... I lost it.
Their what? We're going to discuss these people, but what are we going to discuss about them?
You gave me a look.
I'm sorry.
You're like, big eyebrow. Okay.
Well, it's not often you drop the ball. I'm not sure I'm going to edit this one either. This might stay in.
don't.
Everybody can laugh. Let me do it again.
No.
Okay, you go ahead and go for it one more time.
In this episode, we are talking with Russell and Michelle Miller in regards to their lifestyle in the cryptid area.
Yeah, we're going to find out what got them started and how they got this overly obsessive drive. Because Russell and Michelle didn't just simply see Bigfoot. They saw Bigfoot, and now they're overseeing a growing empire of Bigfoot. This is very weird. That sounds so terrible, but it's true. We've got Darth Vader of Bigfoot on the line here, Russell Miller. Russell, how are you doing tonight?
My breathing has cleared up quite a bit.
Yes, it has. For anybody who doesn't know, Russell Miller and Michelle Miller are their biggest claim to fame right now would be that they have organized and run the Huntsville, Southeast Texas Bigfoot Conference. We just finished a couple of months ago the second annual one. They are already in the planning stages and the setup for the third next year. That's actually proven to be a fairly successful endeavor. Even this year when we had tornadoes and winds and everything else literally right at the conference, they still had, over 1,000?
We had between 500 and 600 this year.
Oh, yeah. It seemed like more than that.
Last year it was over 1,000.
Yeah.
I will say, we're not kidding when we say high winds, rain, hail, tornado warnings, the whole thing.
Tornado warnings, yes.
So it was a very good crowd for the weather that happened in, and the weather's nobody's fault.
Yeah, it's something everybody looks forward to.
Thank goodness it's all held indoors.
Yes, that's true. And air conditioned. I've got to admit that. That was nice.
Yes.
Russell, Michelle, before we get into Bigfoot and everything, why don't you two tell us a little bit about yourselves? A lot of people may not be that familiar with you, or who the hell are you?
Yeah, introduce yourselves.
Who is this again? No. Yeah, my name's Russell Miller, and my wife, Michelle Miller.
Hi.
We've been married for 34 years.
Yep.
34 long years, but it's great. We really enjoy spending time together and doing things together. And years ago, I've got an old hot rod, a 49 Chevrolet. And that's what we always did. We was always spending time with the old car and going places, going to car shows, the big Autorama in Houston. And we just had a good time with it. And actually, we lived in a little town called Highlands. It's between Baytown and Houston, about 15 years ago. And we lived over there, and the house that we was in was built in 1926. It was a real old house.
It was the first schoolhouse in Highlands.
Oh, how interesting.
Transformed into a schoolhouse.
Yeah. And I mean, the 12-foot ceilings, the glass doorknobs, skeleton key locks, the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
And when we lived there, it's whenever taps come out, the ghost hunters.
Yes.
And we were just enthralled with it. We were so interested in it.
But there was a reason for it.
Yeah, because we kept having incidents in that house.
Yes.
And things would go on. And
wait. Are we talking paranormal here?
Oh,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Okay,
Yes,
please go on.
and,
Let's hear some interesting events.
Jennifer really loves the paranormal.
Oh, yes. Well, me and Michelle would be there by ourselves, and this house was up on blocks. And all three of the kids would be over with their cousins spending the night. And at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, you could hear boots walking through the house.
Yep.
Just as clear as it, and you get up, look around, nobody's there. And it was crazy. And we've had lights come on. You walk into a room and a light would just come on. Faucets come on and off.
The door would open by itself, the back door, the gate would rattle. But the weird thing about this house was when we first walked into it, I asked the lady who owned it at the time, did someone die here? It's like I had a feeling. And come to find out, someone did die there.
Yeah, she said no at first. And then the first year we was there for Halloween, Michelle was out in the front yard putting up little headstones for a little graveyard scene. And this woman came from across the street and said, "You got it right, but it happened over here."
Oh,
and she said,
creepy.
"What's that?" He said, "This is where the man died at." And the lady we was renting from had a little boy there before we moved there.
About our son's age.
Yeah. And there was a homeless man that just a bum lived in the neighborhood and would come over there and try to come in the house. And he was drunk one night and was rattling the door, and she opened the door with a gun in her hand and told her to leave. And he charged it, and she tried to shoot him in the leg, and he ducked down, shot him in the chest, and killed him.
Yep.
Wow.
And this is some crazy stuff, but the honest thing is we've got newspaper clippings of this, so it really happened. The police come out and talk to the people, talk to the lady, and the little boy seen him, the man laying out there, and said, "That's nobody. He lives in my closet." And they was talking to him, trying to figure out what he was, about 6 years old at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "He lives in my closet." And they went in the little boy's closet, opened it up, and there's boards nailed against the wall to go into the attic.
Yep.
The police climb up in the attic, and there's food wrappers and clothes and boxes, a bedroll. The man was living in her attic. She didn't know it.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And above the sink and the bedroom,
the bathroom,
everywhere there was holes in the ceiling that he would peek down through and watch her.
Yep.
Ooh.
And they were trying to figure out what he meant by nobody. And the only thing the police could figure out was if she heard him talk, if the mother heard the little boy talking to somebody, who said, "Who are you talking to?" He said, "I'm talking to nobody."
I
was about to say, it's got to be the name that the guy gave him.
That was actually happened. And so the man had the man died there, the whole 9 yards, and all this stuff was going on. And we was watching the TV shows, the ghost hunters and all this. So we actually started a little group called We Believe Paranormal. And we still have that Facebook page.
Yep.
And we got to hanging out with the Kling brothers from the Ghost Lab.
Mm-hmm.
We went to several events with them, Mississippi and all over Texas and places, Louisiana. And we was doing ghost hunting. Well, a couple of years after that, there's a little town in east of Houston called Saratoga, and it's well known for the Saratoga light. Supposedly there's a light out there. This road is about 9 miles long, and it's straight as an arrow. Mm-hmm. It used to be a train track. And whenever they moved the train track somewhere else, they just tore that train tracks up and made a road out of it. And now it's an arrow straight road for 9 miles over there in, I think it's Polk County. And from back in the 40s and 50s, people would see lights floating down there, and it's called the Saratoga Light. And they say it's a man with a lantern looking for his head from the whole ghost story thing. But if you actually go down there, it's off of FM 787 over there by Saratoga. And there's actually signs there from the state of Texas. They call it Ghost Road.
Wow.
And there's different things about it. And it's all over, and all these haunted things. It talks all about it. Well, we went out there several times, never seen anything. And nearby there was another cemetery that someone had told us about in the town of Saratoga.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is in a thing called the Lance Rosier unit. It's a big thicket
Yeah,
unit.
it's part of the big thicket.
And
Okay.
we went out in there, and it's about 5 miles back into this road. We went out there a couple of times, and there's an old cemetery out there from
Yep.
the late 17 and early 1800s.
Yep.
We'd go out there and do EVP sessions and stuff like that.
Respectfully, though.
Oh, yes. So one night we was going out there. We had all the windows down the truck. I was driving, Michelle's next to me, my son's in the back seat, and his friend sitting behind me. We're going through there about 2:00 in the morning in that back road, and my wife and my son said they heard whistling.
Yep.
I mean, we wasn't into Bigfoot at all. We'd watched Legend of Boggy Creek and this kind of stuff, but we all, like everybody else, thought it was up in
Pacific Northwest.
Pacific Northwest,
Mm-hmm.
So we go down to the end, we're doing an EVP session, nothing happens, and we're coming back out, and my wife said, I keep hearing that whistling. So we stop, and we shut the motor off, and it's so dark you can't see your hand in front of your face. And we're out here in the middle of the big thicket, and all of a sudden, behind us, to the right, it sounded like a tree branch about the size of your leg breaking, just crack, really loud.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what the hell is that? And then you could hear footsteps coming through the brush, breaking limbs, and just chunk, chunk. All four of us heard it. It was loud.
And it was coming towards us.
It was getting louder and coming towards us. You could hear limbs breaking and everything else. I started the truck up and tore off out of there.
I don't blame you.
Well, yeah. And I had a gun beside me, but it was a fight or flight thing, and I wanted to get the heck out of there. And we was talking to some people about it, and they said, oh, that's old mossy back. I said, what's that? He said, that's a Bigfoot out there.
Yep.
And pretty much over one weekend, we stopped ghost hunting and started Bigfooting.
Yep.
We started looking into things, and there was a gentleman that used to live out in that area.
Rob Riggs.
Rob Riggs. He wrote a book called
On the Trail of the Big Thicket Wild Man.
Yeah, On the Trail of the Big Thicket Wild Man.
Yeah.
And he lived right there in that neighborhood there. And he had, it was a really interesting book. And so we've been going out there for several years.
Mm-hmm.
And we've heard howls. We've heard knocks. We pulled up one day, and as soon as we pulled up in the middle of the day, a tree gets pushed over. So it was really a lot of stories from out there. And so Michelle starts talking to some other people, and she hears something about the Sam Houston National Forest. And we looked that up, and if you Google Sam Houston National Forest and Bigfoot sightings, it goes back for 40 years.
Yep.
There's tons of sightings out there. So we started going out there, and we'd do howls and wood knocks and stuff, and we would get responses and howls and things. We'd leave recorders out, come back the next day and get them. And but it really got real exciting to us. We hear about Craig Woolheater's conference up in Jefferson, so we started going up there. And now, we don't do nothing with the ghost hunt no more, and we're just fully involved in this Bigfoot. And we just both we really, really enjoy doing it and going out and looking for it. It's free entertainment as far as I'm concerned. Going out and looking for something, and we really have a ball doing this stuff. And after a couple of times we went there, we went to Spout, and they had a couple of festivals up there a few years back.
Yep.
And so we was just talking, and I said, I want to do a documentary, and just instead of all these famous Bigfoot people, let's just talk to the average Joe and just get their stories. And we did it. We talked to a few people, and we started doing that. And just one evening, we were sitting there talking about a conference and saying it would be nice to have one around here.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started looking and talking and checking things out.
We actually did a poll.
Yeah, we did a poll. I did a poll at work asking
Really?
about different people said, do you know who this person is? Do you know who this? And I was trying to get feedback to find out who we could get to be our speakers.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta hand it out to Lyle Blackburn. He helped me out a lot with it, telling me, best way to do this and who to contact for this, and the T-shirt, just all kinds of information, and the artwork and all the posters. So we did it last year, and like I said, we had 1,000 wristbands.
Yeah.
And at 11 o'clock, my daughter come up and told me we need more wristbands.
That's incredible.
And we didn't have any more, so we were still charging people $20 to come in the door, but we had no idea of how many there was.
Yeah.
So we had more than 1,000 come in the door last year.
We just know that there was 1,000.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it was just, everybody just had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I said, we're on to something. I really enjoyed doing this. And we're getting to meet so many great people.
Yep.
And having a good time. And this Bigfoot family that we're in is, I love it. It's really, really something we look forward to, be going to the conferences and, like I say, putting our zone and going to these other little events that we go to. And then we had the one this year. And like I say, I think the weather had a whole lot to do with it, as bad as the weather was. But we still had between 500 and 600 people there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a charity for our auction, and 100% of the proceeds go to that charity.
Yep.
Last year we had the Lucky Fin project.
Yep.
And if you remember Finding Nemo, he had a little fin, and they called it his Lucky Fin. Well, my grandson, who's 2, was born with no fingers on his hand, on his right hand.
Yep.
And it was something called ABS.
Oh.
It's
Ambionic band syndrome.
Ambionic band syndrome. And there's like little rubber bands in the ambionic fluid. If it touches you, it stunts the growth there.
Yeah.
For like a cleft lip, that's where it comes from.
Yep.
And when you're born with no fingers, that's 9 times out of 10 is what is the issue.
Yep.
And so we found out there's a thing called the Lucky Fin, and they help kids with limb deficiency.
Mm-hmm.
So that was they got 50% of our auction last year, and the others went to
the Honor Flight of Texas.
Yeah, the Honor Flight. They send World War II vets to Washington to see the wall before they pass.
Memorial Wall.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then this year we just had one, and it was the St. Jude's Children's Cancer Research Hospital.
Yes.
Worthy.
And so that's a lot of the stuff that we just find stuff on the internet. We buy it, we put it towards the auction, and without all the speakers and the fans coming out and everything, we could never do this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We just have a ball doing it. We really, really enjoy doing this.
Now
I gotta take a
see
breath.
you have quite an evolution described there for your conferences. I think it's only going to get better. As you plan these regional conferences, what do you expect your attendees or yourselves to gain from it? I mean, is it educational? Is it just like getting together and enjoying what do you expect to gain from it?
I think it's educational as well as entertaining. So we actually have people come out there who don't believe in Bigfoot, and that's fine.
Wow.
Come out and listen to the people talk. And now that's one of the reasons we have it in Huntsville is the Sam Houston National Forest is 116,000 acres. And there's been sightings there for 40 years.
Yeah.
And if you go around town and you ask somebody about a Bigfoot, if they haven't had a experience, they know somebody who has.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff goes on out there.
But we're hoping that people go away with a little bit of education, what to do if you're in the woods and you see one, or if you come across a trackway, or what you think you have as evidence, where to send that, how to tell the difference between evidence and, just somebody running barefoot through the woods. So, yeah, I really think people really appreciated Researchers Row because they got to talk to all of y'all who were there, in Researchers Row, and to tell people your experiences and how you got to do this and how you achieved this and acquired that.
It was fun. It was fun talking to everyone this year.
There were times it was challenging, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I had a wide variety of people and topics that came up and inquired about things. And I wasn't, that was the first time I'd ever actually done a booth.
For both of us.
Yeah, for both of us at one of these conferences. And it was an interesting learning experience. I had some really good information brought in, and then I had other stuff that I just didn't know what to do with. They asked me, well, we've got this, and this going on. What do we do? And the only thing I could, some of it I could instantly tell them, oh, this is exactly what you need to do. It's this or that. And then other people, I was just like, maybe you need an exorcist.
At least you didn't get schooled. I had this guy with a phone and a bunch of pictures. And is this fake or is it real in regards to ghost sightings?
Oh, yes.
And I'm like,
I remember that.
I don't know.
I think that was my exorcist guy.
That was interesting.
I was like, I don't know about this. I'm a Bigfoot researcher. I'm not. If I had known it was you guys were paranormal too, I would have sent him back over to the stage.
Well, now one of the things that we tell people when they think they say, I think there may be a Bigfoot out where I go at. First thing, go buy your recorder, a voice recorder.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're as cheap as $30 at Walmart.
What would you recommend?
Take it out there.
What does a good recorder need to have on it?
It needs to be a digital kind, not the kind with the little bitty micro tapes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You just got to have a digital kind that you can actually plug into a computer and download the file.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have Sonys, and they're about $60, $70. We got about 6 of them, and we'll go out and set them in different areas and let it run all night long. Sometimes you get something, sometimes you don't. We've actually gotten quite a few good things by doing that.
Would you say that's your favorite method of research?
That's one of ours. And something else now. Okay, let me jump forward a little bit here, or backwards, whichever way you're looking.
Please.
Back in 2014, we went to Caddo Lake, and we camped there for a week.
Love Caddo Lake.
Before Craig's conference.
Yeah.
So we stayed there a week, and then we went to the conference, and then we came home. Mm-hmm. And basically that was our little vacation. Well, in that week's time, we ran a recorder every night for about 10 hours.
Wow.
That's close to 80 hours of recording. And I would get up the next day and I'd download it to the laptop, clean it off, and I'd do it again. And it was right there in the screened-in shelter where we was at. Several of the nights during the middle of the week, we were the only one in the campground. And we got the craziest howls. We got rocks thrown at us. We got wood knocks. We got sticks breaking. We got all kinds of stuff. It took me 3 months to narrow that 80 hours down to 12 minutes. And it's actually on our Facebook page. You can sit there and you can hear all the stuff. I got it all compiled in order of how, the rock throws and all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we would just, we couldn't believe there was that much activity there. Well, the following year, we went out to another area out there that's near the state park.
Yep.
And we put a recorder out. Michelle did a call. She loves doing calls. And she got the coyotes all going. And we sat there for about 5 minutes, and then we left. And it was about 11 o'clock at night. And we came back, got the recorder the next day, and about 3 minutes after you hear our car driving away, or the truck driving away, is one of the most awesome howls you've ever heard in your life.
Sweet.
And it was almost like it was saying, well, they're gone.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy howl. And we put that through a spectrogram, and it's right in that area where they think suspected Bigfoot vocals end up at.
I'm putting in a request right now to be able to listen to that.
Oh, not a problem. I'll send it to you. It's on YouTube and it's on our site.
That
Is
sounds
it?
fantastic.
I would like to.
Yeah.
If I've heard it, I'm not recognizing it. I'd like to hear it and everything, and compare it to some
no
of the ones
problem.
we have on file.
Who did we send it to authenticate
Ellis.
it? Yeah.
I think his name is David
David
Ellis.
Ellis.
Yeah, or Ellison from the Olympic Project.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he went through it, and he said, "Oh yeah, that's a good one right there." So, but the following year after that, we go up. We stay at the campground all the time, and the following year, now this is whenever we started hearing this stuff and going, we went ahead and bought a dash cam.
Yep.
Because you never know if something's going to run across. Because you remember, if you see so many people, especially on the Finding Bigfoot show, there was so many people that said they seen it run across the road.
Mm-hmm.
And as cheap as dash cams are, $50, $100, you get one of them, and if it happens, you've got it. And we had went down to the area where I was telling you about. We dropped the recorder off there. This was in 15 or 16. And on the way out, we're driving out. I've got a 50-inch light bar on the roof and a 30-inch light bar on the bumper, and I can light the whole night up really, really bright. And it's about 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday night, and we're driving down the road, coming up to an intersection, and there's a big green directional sign, and it's just glowing from the light bar hitting it.
It pops.
And I seen two heads and shoulders walk in front of that sign. And I told Michelle, I said, "Look like a couple of hunters up here." Well, it was about a quarter of a mile away. By the time we got up to it, we figured out it was really, really tall sign.
Mm-hmm.
So we left, went back to the campground, came back the next morning. I throwed a measuring tape on it. The bottom of the sign is 8'6". So it was about 9.5 foot tall, two of them. And you could see it blocking out the sign as it went in front of it.
But what's interesting is where it went, after it passed the sign, there is a huge open gap
in the woods.
In the foliage there where something has been going through for a while.
It's like a game trail, but it's like a game trail the size of a refrigerator. I mean, it's huge. And so we come out the next day and we sat back where I first seen it at. We took pictures and trying to make sure. One of the things we believe in with all our heart is debunking. If we can debunk it, we're going to debunk it.
Yeah.
And we tried everything. It wasn't fence post. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. And like I say, the only thing I could figure out, it was two Bigfoot was walking from across the street and across in front of that sign and down into that game trail. It was a quarter of a mile away. I only had a cheap dash cam at the time. It did catch it. You could see the light. You could see something go in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent it off to a guy and had him try to zoom in, and it pixelated it really bad. But you can actually see something on there. But since then, we've got a newer dash cam. And like I say, every time we're out in the woods, we've always got it on. Always got our fingers crossed because you never know if it's going to happen or not.
Correct.
But no, like I say, we really enjoy doing it. I work at one of the plants in the chemical plants. I work a lot of overtime, but anytime we do get off, we love to head out to the woods. We got a couple of bags. We just call them the Bigfoot bags. You got the thermal and the recorders and all that stuff. We just grab the bag, stick it in the truck, and we're gone.
Right. Yeah, Jennifer and I have a couple of those and everything. We don't even call them Bigfoot bags. We just call them go bags, but that's exactly what they are. They're the Bigfoot bags. They've got all the equipment, and everything. Everything's labeled out. You just grab them and throw them in the Jeep and go.
Yeah. So I told you that time that we went out to that one place and a tree got pushed over.
Yes.
The recorder was sitting on the dash, not on. So that's one of our other rules. As soon as you get to where you're going, turn the recorder on.
But what was interesting about that experience, we were actually starting to cook supper. I was grilling hamburgers on a campfire, when we heard the tree be pushed over. And I grabbed up one a camcorder, and I started running towards the area. Needless to say, our supper burnt.
Yeah, by the time we got back over. But, I mean, and then later on that night, actually it was Christmas Eve or the day after Christmas?
Mm-hmm. Day after Christmas.
It was the day after Christmas, and nobody's out there. It's cold, and we got a real good howl about midnight.
Yeah.
And now one thing that we, between me and Michelle, we've got this thing, we call it the creep factor, or the creepiness.
Right.
And if we go somewhere and she'll say, I'm creeped out, and I'm not, it doesn't bother me. I mean, wherever we're around, it's no big deal. But other times we can go someplace and I've got the most creepiest feeling. I just feel like something's going to reach over and grab me out of the back seat. And we respect each other's creepy feelings when it comes to something like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to go somewhere where I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But some of the places we go to now up in the Sam Houston, we was up there on a Sunday night. I think it was about a year ago, just sitting on this road, this abandoned road out there, and had the recorder sitting up on the roof. Sunday night, about midnight, and the craziest screaming, howling that you ever heard. And it went on for about a minute and a half, and you could hear us saying, "What the heck is that?" And it went on for about a minute and a half, and then just completely stopped. And I grabbed the recorder, and we got in the truck, or got the windows rolled up, was easing out of there. And that's another sound. I'll send that to you. It's that's also on our site and on YouTube.
Okay.
And I don't know what it was. It's got a little bit of a canine sound to it, but it's also got like a roar sound to it at the same time.
I think I know the kind of sound you're talking about.
Really strange. Yeah.
There's a lot of unusual sounds that come out of that part of Texas.
Most definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and you can't ascribe them to any one animal. That they don't fit any of the known recordings. I'm still waiting on one of these.
Well, there's some other people that call it Jurassic Park sounds.
yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yes, they're Jurassic Park. That's actually a very famous term.
And you just wait for a T-Rex to come out of the bushes. I mean,
yep.
it's crazy.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yes.
Let's see. All right, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Jen had to step away for a second, so she's left me in charge, and so we're in a lot of trouble.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. She wanted me to ask you if you guys would describe your perfect encounter scenario. If you could plan it out, how would you have that perfect encounter?
Like I say, one of the things that we don't get into is the pro kill, no kill.
Yeah. Right.
Each their own.
But I'm going to come out and say right now, we're not out with the high-powered gun, wait to see something and blow it away.
No, you're not. You're just like us.
But
you go out there.
I'm going to defend myself and my family.
We both carry.
Yes, and if something happens, it happens. And I would hate for something like that to happen. Yeah. But I would love a real close crossing the street right in front of us with the dash cam going, and just a real clear sighting like that, or possibly with using our FLIR. I would love to be able to get something sort of like the Stacy Brown footage of where it stepped out from behind the tree, and it's an awesome clip to get something like that. That would be my favorite.
My problem is,
I think,
go ahead.
Well, for me, I think that I would like to see one when I'm on a hike. I would like to see one, maybe not in my face, but maybe crossing a path or maybe off behind some trees. I think that would really just do it for me.
You don't think that would creep you out a little too much or intimidate?
It might creep me out a little to know that something's watching me, but I think it would be kind of awesome too. But because like Russell says, we carry for protection. Now, if it comes charging, I may not kill it, but I'm going to empty that clip into
no,
it.
I'm right there with you. I keep thinking that, you know, if I get charged someday, I don't know what's better if I should shoot to put it down, you know, and to kill because I'm defending myself in that situation, or if I should just try to kneecap it. You know, I don't know. I don't know what the smarter solution is to this question. And no one really does. No one really does. That's a situation.
Until you're in that situation.
Yeah. And even when you're there, that's, you know, but that is something that everyone has to kind of keep in the back of their mind. I'm going to reiterate with you right now. Yeah, we don't take a stand on the kill or no kill or anything like that. That's something each individual enthusiast and researcher, they have to come to grips and understand for their own reasons and for their own beliefs. We're not talking about that. We are simply we're simply talking self-preservation and self-defense. This would be the same thing if you had a large wild boar or a large bear. Something like that. Any wild animal. And that is something we have to think about as Bigfoot enthusiasts, as outdoorsmen that are out there. There are animals out there. It's not just Bigfoot. We're going to use Bigfoot as the example because he's our favorite example. But for any of them, these are wild animals that are not tamed. They don't live in our society. They are not used to interacting with us on a daily, you know, on a daily level at our terms. They live on their own. They make their own decisions. And there's every reason to believe these things are as smart as us. And look what humans do. So I think it's very, very cognizant to just keep your protection in the back of your mind. You need, you know, for any of the animals. Definitely you need to, you know, there's a couple of people out there that don't. And I'll be honest, half the time I go out into the woods, and it depends on where I'm going to. Sometimes I'll carry, sometimes I won't. It does depend on the situation. Then you have other people like our second guest we had on our show ever, Brandon Garrett. He's very famous for never carrying anything. The most he carries is a knife. And everyone still thinks he's nuts. You know? No one, I still don't understand how he does it. But
I think Brandon's pretty handy with that knife. He could probably carve something up before he knew what happened.
He probably could. You know, for all the laughing and giggling and good nature that Brandon is not somebody I would want to mess with.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he has that easy carry about him that you need to be wary of. Yeah, we have to protect ourselves.
I hear people walking out in the woods and going on now. Back in 2011 and 2012, I had to go to the upper east end of Tennessee to work on a job up there for about a year and a half. And Michelle went up there with me. We basically rented our house out to some friends that was need the house, and we moved up there and lived there for almost 2 years.
Loved it.
And we was right next to the
Appalachian
Trail. And more than once, we would go out on either the North Carolina side or Tennessee side or wherever, Virginia, and get up on the Appalachian Trail and hang out and, you know, walk around a little bit. And more than once, we would see someone walking that trail by themselves, including women by themselves walking that Appalachian Trail. They might have had a handgun, but they wasn't carrying nothing, a big gun or nothing.
Right.
And I'm just thinking to myself, if you only knew what is out here.
I mean, because there's bears, there's the cougars.
There's bear everywhere.
Let's just forget Bigfoot for a moment. There's things out there that can kill you.
Yes.
And these women, I mean, my hat's off to them, hiking that trail by themselves. And I was like, wow.
Well, there was one of the missing 411, the little boy.
Oh, yeah.
that came up missing. One of the real popular. I can't remember his name right offhand.
I don't remember his name.
But there was a town near there called Cage Cove, and we used to go up there every couple of weeks in that area. And they say there's like a dozen bear per square mile.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bear all up in that place. And he was one of the ones that was that on David Paulides' first movie talking about the little boy that left. I can't remember his name right offhand, but Martin was his last name.
Yeah.
And that's in the area where we was at up in there, and it's
the
like
Martin
it's
case.
Beautiful.
Isn't the Martin case the one where they found out that it had been reported and yet withheld from the family that somebody had seen what they thought was a bear or something like that carrying a child over its shoulder?
Exactly.
Yes. And the people who reported that was in Cage Cove.
At the campground. And they said the little boy woke up and screamed, and that was the last they heard.
Well, the Cage Cove was actually a community.
Yeah.
And back in the 1800s, I don't know whether it was from the Civil War or what, the community it turned into a ghost town. There's probably 20 houses out there, maybe 5 or 6 churches, an old cemetery, an old flour mill.
Yeah.
And everything there was nobody out there. Everybody just walked away from it.
But they do still churn flour at the mill.
Well, the state of North Carolina took it over.
Yeah.
And now they've made it a public park. And you can come up there, and it's like an 8-mile loop. If you drive up this road one way, and you go all around this, and you see all these houses, they look just the same way when the people walked away from them.
You can go in them.
And you can go in them in the old churches, and that old mill, they actually have that as a gift shop, and they still grind up corn and stuff in there and sell little bags of it.
Makes the best cornbread.
It's a real nice little tourist thing.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's called Cage Cove, and that's where that gentleman was at whenever he seen something up on the ridge.
Yeah.
That they thought was that little boy, or there's something carrying that little boy.
Oh my goodness.
But we was all up around in there, and we had some knocks and stuff like that while we was up there in some of the woods, but we never got any, real good evidence. And we'd go to Virginia sometimes or Kentucky, because where we was at, we was about 30 minutes away from 4 different states.
Yeah.
So we was always up in there, but
and we were still doing ghost hunting at that point.
Yeah.
Got some wonderful EVPs for those of you into the ghost hunting.
Well, you had your plate full, didn't you?
Yeah, we wasn't doing the Bigfoot as much, and we was still doing the ghost stuff, but we was just dabbling into the Bigfoot. And matter of fact, we was living up there when we came back here for my granddaughter being born, and that's what we was down here for. Whenever we went out to the thicket and got that bluff charge.
Really? Okay.
And that's what really changed everything for us right there.
Michelle, before we get too far away from it, I know Jennifer would probably want to ask you this question, and you broached the subject, and so I'm gonna go ahead and take the opportunity to ask it now. As a woman, how has this personally affected you? How have you? I think the angle she's looking for is how have you adapted? Because she's fascinated with hearing because there are so many women in Bigfoot now that you don't traditionally hear of them a lot. They're the new majority, if you ask me. Everything, all the famous people and everyone traditionally is male. How have you acclimated into it? What have you had to do or anything? I mean, tell us how you've conquered. Well,
okay. Well, for me personally, I grew up going camping all the time. We would go camping out near Romare and Rye and Dolan, East Texas, I guess, because we lived in Houston. I was a city girl. And when we got into Bigfoot, it's like, oh, great, we get to go to the woods because, again, I love camping. And I could stay in the woods 24/7 if Russell would let me, but he won't. But for me, I really think that just being a female, being able to go out and to look for Bigfoot, to do calls or, whoops or whatever to try to get the response, and I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's just been such a great experience for me personally. Anytime I can go in the woods, I will. Anna and I just went to a all-female expedition in Oklahoma last month, and that was absolutely fantastic. Just a group of girls hanging out around a campfire, we actually told ghost stories, and we were in areas that was reported to have activity. So, and I think that if more women get into it, hey, I think that is fantastic because we should be making a presence in a man's world, I guess you could say, if that wasn't too blunt.
No such thing on this show as too blunt.
But yeah, I could go anytime and well, Anna and I, sometimes we just get in the truck and we just go out to what we like to call the parking lot. Ann calls it Howland Bridge, but Russell and I call it the parking lot, and we just go and we sit, and sometimes we get out and with the recorder and we just walk the trail and see what's what. And we haven't gotten anything, of course, because we're in the middle of the daytime, but you never know. But personally, we haven't gotten anything as far as Anna and I, but yeah, I really think it's great. More women are out in the woods, and that's just my opinion.
So you have not, I guess why I'm asking here, because I know Jen's got a beef. Well, I shouldn't say that sounds bad. That's not it. Jen has been irritated before at little things that have surprised me, things that I never thought would irritate her. Like being stuck in the middle of the line, I guess, at times. Or, she feels like the guys are being overly protective. And she
gotcha.
grew up in the woods. She's she's a lumberjack's daughter. Her dad literally, her and her little brother and her little sister, I guess during the summers, I don't know where mom was at the time, but anyway, they would go to work with dad. Dad would set them up with a little lean-to tarp or something like that and some food and leave them out there for about 6 or 8 hours while he's out in the surrounding area, chopping wood or doing whatever. And I guess the kids could hear dad working. And so, he was still within earshot. But when you're using a chainsaw, earshot can be a pretty far distance, Oh, and so her and her brother and sister and everything, they just spent whole afternoons and evenings. She said a lot of times it was well after dark before dad got back, and they'd be in the woods. And so she's very comfortable in the woods, as a little kid. And so and we ran afoul of her, is the best way I can describe it, without realizing it, because we were just being protectionist, kind of protection male, here, put the women in the middle of the line, we'll keep them there. And I guess she thought it was cute for the first couple of trips. And then after that, she started complaining, saying, hey, you guys, I can hang out in the back of the line. It's okay.
Yeah.
Or I can lead the line. It's okay. Little things that we never even considered because we thought we were being polite.
Well,
and have you ever run into anything similar? I mean, just educate us guys now. I mean,
Okay. Well, I think men are just in general, you're raised to not hit your sister or to open the door for us ladies, which is appreciated, or at least, I still appreciate it. Chivalry is not all dead, but I can hold my own in a camping situation, or if I'm in the woods situation, I can, I can shoot pretty straight. Haven't had any issues with that. I can start a campfire. I can fish. I haven't hunted. I'm not going to lie, but because I just the thought of killing something while it's sitting there dying, looking at me is just too much, but
Fish
that's
don't
okay. Yeah. Fish don't count. Hey, I'll throw those suckers on the bank, let them flop till they're dead. Nail the head to the tree and skin that sucker. It's no big deal to me. But, I'm used to being in the woods too. When we were little, oh my stars, we stayed in the woods and in the campground. We didn't go to Huntsville State Park or to a state park. No, my dad would find a spot, pull up, and that's where we would camp.
Right.
And you had to pick your outhouse, as they say. And, whether you got the poison ivy or not, just don't get bit by a snake at that point. But, as far as us going into the woods, Russell gets a little frustrated with me because I try to get in front and I'm just gone. And he's like, will you wait for me? You have to wait for me. I'm like, why do I have to wait for you? You better keep up with me. And, I'm gone. So, yeah, I get where she's coming from. Hey, and I think that that's absolutely fabulous that she was raised that way. A lot weren't,
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
there's
now
a lot of city.
I do claim right now I have a get out of jail free card. If she differs with anything I said, I am likely to be corrected. So I'm just saying for the record now, don't take what I said as gospel. I'm actually wondering where she is. She ought to be back here any minute now. Anyway.
Russell's constantly, I'm correcting him constantly too. So it's a girl thing.
It's a girl thing. That's exactly right. Okay.
Hello. Okay.
I tried
Jennifer, you need to go listen to everything he said.
I did.
I will.
I put words in your mouth.
Okay.
I had to ask female questions of Michelle. How did she have to cope as a female in a male Bigfoot world? And what have the men done that have irritated her? Because I told her some of the things men have done that have irritated you. Like, not letting, keeping you in the middle of the line. Suggesting you stay in camp,
Yeah.
Well, she sounds a whole lot like Michelle as far as she's a tomboy if there ever was one.
Yeah.
And she one of her favorite things to do is to make and keep the campfire stoked. And she is real good at building a campfire and cooking on the campfire. And like I say, just like she said, if I'd let her, she'd live in the woods.
Oh, I bet.
So now that Jennifer has returned, Jennifer, would you care? You have your traditional thing here. I think right now might not be a bad time.
All right. Is anybody up for a game?
Most certainly.
I have a game here, and I'm wondering how I can do it for the two of you. Do you want to flip a coin and one of y'all do it, or do you want to have a consensus and just say yay, nay, or say what together?
I think they should shout over each other.
Okay, we'll do it that way.
We're good at that.
Okay. So we're doing the quick cryptid connection query. In this game, I have a list of cryptids, and I'm going to be reading them off. I want you to say yay if you believe it or you've heard of it. Nay, if you've never heard of it, you don't believe it, it's bunk. And say what if you've never heard of it at all.
And I keep trying to tell people, the more creative you can say what, the more points I feel like there are.
Say what?
Let's get creative. Let's have some fun with this.
I do have 2 Easter eggs in here. One of them is going to be a former cryptid, but now known actual creature, documented and everything. And the other is Bigfoot's cousin. So let's see if you spot them. So,
Okay, let's give it a try.
Russell and Michelle, you ready to go?
Go ahead, yes.
Okay. Kraken.
Yeah, yay.
Northfield Pigman.
Say what?
Yeah, say what?
Piazza.
Nay.
Nay. Yeah, I agree.
Uriuli.
I'll let you answer that one.
Mothman.
Say it again.
Yuli.
Okay. I was thinking it was Yaren or something. I wasn't sure. Nay.
Nay, yeah.
Mothman.
Yes.
Yay.
Vampire.
Yay.
Beast of Busco.
Nay. Never heard that one.
Yeah, me neither.
Tahoe Tessie.
Okay? Or say what?
Emilia Nuka.
No.
Nay.
Bête du Gévaudan.
Well, sounds very French, but no.
No.
Bullybop.
Say what? Nope. Nay.
Comment c'est-on? What is that? I speak French.
¿Cómo se llama? Okay.
Close, yes.
What's your name in Spanish, man?
No.
Kelpies.
Nay.
Nope.
Dugong.
Yeah, I think I've heard that before.
Drop bear.
Nay.
No.
All right. Thus ends the quick cryptid connection query from Michelle and from Russell. You guys did great. Now, did you spot the Easter eggs? Can you guess on any of them?
I'm thinking one of them was Mothman.
That is
I didn't.
one. Not one of them, actually.
I thought that was the one that was basically like the cousin of Bigfoot.
The
No,
Yuli.
that clean thing.
I'm sorry, Michelle.
Okay.
What?
No, go ahead. I was trying to explain to him what a Mothman was.
Yeah. The Yuli is the Bigfoot cousin from Alaska, the woodlands of Alaska.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
See, you learn something new every day.
How about the former cryptid, now proven real creature?
Nope, you're going to have to help me with that one.
It's a dugong. The dugong was... Yes, it was sighted in the waters of the sea by seamen, and they would say this incredibly beautiful creature came up and smiled at them. The dugong is actually a relative of the dolphin and or manatee. It's the largest fish. It has the most human-like face. So under the water, rippling, you can imagine they're like, oh, look, that's a mermaid. But now, no, it's actually a real creature.
Oh, wow. I'll have to check that out. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Dugongs, dugong. And I'll have Stephen post this to the episode as well.
Yes, I'm supposed to have posted the last two, and somebody's been kind of lazy and haven't done it yet.
Yeah, somebody has to give them to you for you to post because...
I wasn't saying you were lazy. I was saying I was lazy.
Well, I haven't given them to you. So.
Okay, you're lazy then.
I'll
it's
take
okay.
the blame.
Oh, okay. It's all your fault. It's not often I get to say that.
Did you check on Owen?
Yes, I did. Owen is doing just fine.
What was that noise?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It was the neighbors. You know, they were probably chopping up dead bodies or something.
Okay. We do have some weird neighbors.
Only in West Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Oh, I can imagine.
Would you guys ever consider doing a Patterson-Gimlin style expedition?
Oh, I would love it.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of a bum knee, but I've heard some people talk about they've been there before, and it was some of it is a little bit trying to get down there. I can go as long as it's not really, really difficult, but that's one of our bucket lists
Yep.
Now,
I
are
would
you
go in a heartbeat.
Well, I was about to say, are you talking about actually going to the site where the film was filmed?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
I was about to say, Jennifer's was asking a different question. What she's talking about is...
Would you do a Patterson Gimlin style expedition?
Yeah, where they go out, like the 2 or 3 of you on horseback and go for 3 or 4 days into...
Oh, I would in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
I have 2 horses. One's ready to go. I would in a heartbeat.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Be careful. You might just get some people invited along here.
I'll pack myself in the saddlebag. You won't notice I'm there.
That's not a problem. We can do that.
Let's see, I haven't been on a horse in 15 years, maybe.
It's been about the
Been a
same
while.
with me. The last time was when I was in college. I took horseback riding for a course, and
Oh, I hate you. That's not fair.
They
I'm
had a
sorry.
course for horseback riding?
they did. They had
Wow.
it was a PE credit. We could do horseback riding, and I was like,
But
know,
you
I've
gotta
always wanted
remember,
to ride
though,
a horse.
That's back before motor cars.
No,
Everybody was riding
no,
horses.
it was not quite. In fact, I'll be honest, it was in this century even.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. I
What?
did not know that
Get
they
it
had
right.
it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty darn cool. So, yeah, I would in a heartbeat. I think that would be a really neat thing to go and do and experience. I really do.
What plans do you all have in the future? Where are you wanting to go? I mean, you've got the conferences, and you have your own research activities, and your free entertainment, as you call it. There's nothing free in Bigfoot. I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you.
That's true. When you talk about equipment and stuff, yes.
Where do you see yourselves going? And I'm not wanting any secret plans or anything like that, but if you can, what are your goals?
Well, like I said, we were talking earlier. I was supposed to retire next month.
Right.
And this has been put off for a couple of years now because of Harvey. And in our minds, what we wanted to do is we do have grandkids here in Baytown and Crosby, so we don't want to get too far away, but an hour and a half away up in the woods. There's a lot of woods within an hour and a half of here, and get a little house up there, a couple of acres with the horses, and that's where we was just going to spend our retirement. We were not going to be sitting on the front porch watching the traffic drive by.
Yeah.
We're going to be out in the woods a lot.
Amen.
But like I say, this has been put off for a couple of years now until we get this house ready to sell. But that's eventually what we want to do.
Yeah, we look all the time for property close to the Samuels National Forest or the Angelina, the Davy Crockett.
Yeah.
We just want to be in the woods.
We actually live in town. We're on an acre, but there's houses right next to us all the way around us, and that's how we've always been in town, people.
Right.
And we cannot wait to. We go visit people who's got several acres in the woods right up back to the house, and that's what to be able to sit in the morning and drink coffee and actually see a deer come walking out of the woods into your backyard or something.
Or a Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's cool.
We'll take it. So yeah, that's where we see ourselves. We'll continue to do the conferences for as long as we can, and we will continue to do footstock for as long as we can. But ultimately, we're going to be in the woods, making calls, putting up trail cams,
chasing the boogers.
Yeah.
You brought up footstock, and I hadn't had a chance to bring it up yet. We had Ann on here 2 or 3 episodes ago, and we broached footstock then. Just to remind everybody, Michelle and Russell here secretly run everything down there now, it seems like. Not only do they do the public conference, but they also do footstock, which is kind of an invite-only gathering of the local researchers and everyone else here. They keep it very small, and it's very specific. It's for the hardcore enthusiasts and researchers in the area. This is where we get together. We exchange ideas.
We share information.
We call each other idiots.
Let your hair down and not.
That's
you're not
right.
in the
That's
public
right.
eye.
We go out at night and do all kinds of fun stuff.
Yes, we do. This is our chance to hang out together and to meet face to face, and honestly just learn from each other. And Michelle and Russell are really the inspiration and hosts of that, and they do it out of the kindness of their heart.
And they do a bang up job of it.
They have done an awesome job. Now I know I'm making most of of our audience jealous, because this is not something that they can go to. But I want to bring it up because it's actually an extremely important thing, and no one really realized it was going to be. We've only had it once so far. We're about to have the second one, here in the next couple of months. But the first one turned out to be so good, and there was so much benefit from it. And the whole community out here really owes y'all a big round of applause.
Thank you.
It's a major thank you. You deserve this. You have done such a service to the community. And I do want you recognized for that.
Well, we can only take about 50% of that credit, because Kenny and Ann is right in there with us doing that. They're up to their necks in it, just like we are.
Yeah.
They are super good friends of ours.
They're passing the buck.
I know. You can't talk to either one of them. They'll both say, "Oh no, it's all the other person."
Didn't do a thing. I swear, I didn't do it.
Ann's like, "It's not me. It's Ann." Even went on Facebook and she had to list everybody out and give them credit. And now here are the people she said were the masterminds, the ones that controlled everything, and they're just passing the buck. Someday we're going to find whoever it is we're supposed to thank. But no, anyway, I'm sorry. I'm just teasing.
What has happened truly is we were invited to go to Beachfoot, and I was telling Ann that we were going, and actually she was a little disappointed that she didn't get invited, which I understand. But she said, "Why should I go all the way up there? Why can't we do one here?" And I said, "Well, why can't we do one here?" And within a couple of months, it was done. And the goal was for everybody who came to take away or to leave there with knowledge of what somebody else is doing. Like what you're going to be doing is going to help us. Like what you're going to be talking about at Footstock is going to help us and help others. And what Jeff Stewart's going to talk about is helpful. I mean, we just try to help each other and build each other up. And we definitely are not trying to bring anybody down.
No.
And that was the reason why we did Footstock. And it wasn't, just a group of us going camping or whatever, but it was just educational and what we can learn from each other, and just hear our stories and kick back over a campfire and roast marshmallows, which didn't happen because it rained all weekend.
I want to specify for people. I want to make sure people understand something here. We really are. I mean, this is a conference type thing that we are doing. We are in a room and we are making presentations to each other.
We talked to the park host about it, and they sort of had a not believing type of glance on their face. And we invited them out.
Yep.
And they actually came out that Friday night. They sat up there and listened to the speakers and ate with us. And because it was 2 or 3.
There was like 4 of them from the park there that came and attended.
And they just and I'm not sure what other kind of people has come out there and had parties and all kind of stuff and whatever. But we just told them what we was going to do, and I told them, I said, "Hey," I said, "we would love for y'all to come in," and they did. They came in and they left. They said we was really interested in it, and a lot of the things, and that's what it's all about. Because I was talking to Michelle about this a few years ago, that it is so commonplace now to talk about ghost hunting or Bigfooting or something like this here. Where used to, you was labeled a nut.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when somebody seen something or heard something, they kept it to themselves because they was afraid of ridicule, they was afraid of being made fun of. And it's so mainstream now with the television shows and the movies and all this kind of stuff that people are saying, hey, I'm not ashamed to say it. I've seen something or I heard something.
Right.
I had an experience. And when you come to one of the events that we either put on or Craig or someone else puts on, there's like-minded folks there. There's no making fun of. There's no pointing in. You know, nobody wants to be ridiculed and laughed at, even
they
from
don't.
kids in
Just
school all the way up to
acceptance.
an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And just looking around at the people when we're at one of these events, and I'm thinking to myself, I would never have met this guy if it wasn't for the both of us being into Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it at work. I got Bigfoot stickers on my car, and some of them call me Bigfoot. And they'd come and talk to us, and they everybody's got their little jokes.
Mm-hmm.
But when we get off out in the field by ourselves, they come up and say, "Hey, man, is that shit real? Is that for real?" I said, "Yes, it's for real."
Yep.
Man, I can't believe it. I said, "I'll tell you what, I'll take you to some place." You ain't taking me nowhere. And 10 minutes ago, he was Mr. Joe Brave in there, making fun and laughing. And I got real thick skin. It doesn't bother me. I've been married for 34 years.
Hey.
But anyway, it's just, and I think that's one of the things. I mean, last year we had one of the city councilmen from the from the town of Huntsville come up and speak at our dinner. And they wanted to welcome us there. And we told the same thing we told them. Hey, will y'all come out, listen to what we're talking about, visit and see, see all the stuff. And like I say, that last year when we had 1,000 plus, we was told that was probably a record for the fairgrounds there. They've never had that many people there before in one event.
Wow.
They have a week-long rodeo. They make that many people in a week, but we got some pictures, and I mean, it's unreal to see the crowd that was in there.
They were impressive.
And so many people. It's just, it's like they've been hungry and wanting something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And
but Footstock is just for us. It's just for
let your hair down and just visit with your people. I mean, and
it
to be
is
truthful,
not.
We love our speakers. I mean, we wouldn't have a conference without speakers, but you deal with the public, and you've got to keep your persona, and that sort of goes away at Footstock.
Yes.
It's more of a laid back, sitting around somebody's backyard, drinking a cold one and just relaxing and just visiting,
right.
and it's more of a family type atmosphere like that.
Yep.
Yes.
And by no means are we trying to get rid of the public or nothing like that. This is just something for us.
It's for close family.
Yeah, it's a professional.
Exactly.
It's a professional weekend. It's a professional break, and everything. Because we're not sitting around everybody having a beer and laughing and giggling all day long or whatever. It's not a get together like that. I want to stress that because most of the time when you get large groups of squatchers out, that's what it becomes. And that is not the environment that we have at Footstock. It really is, especially during the day. We put our nose to the ground and we're listening to each other and just as importantly, we're checking each other. We don't if people have a different opinion, that's where we want to hear it. We want we can have debate and everything because we all recognize it's important to keep us real and to keep us honest.
Yes.
And everything. And that is so valuable to the community. And most all of the, that's a rare thing in the cryptid community in general, out there, or even in the paranormal or anything else. You get the conferences, you get the public stuff and everything. And I think it's important that people realize that because Russell, you kind of touched on it. We kind of have a publicity, or not publicity, but a public image problem.
Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
people
You hear the word
things.
Bigfoot, and everybody starts thinking cartoons and, you know,
Oh yeah.
all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, they
And,
and they shudder to think about people running around the woods looking for Bigfoot. And
Yeah.
I think we
Exactly.
especially have that problem in Sam Houston. I think there's a lot of people that just don't quite know what to make of us and
Yeah.
everything. And we've got to have our best foot forward. And
Mhm.
this is something I want everyone to know. This footstock is the real deal. And it's, you know, and everything. Now at night, after we're all done and we're having dinner and we're sitting around that campfire, yeah, we're gonna laugh and joke. It's all one big
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
It
Exactly.
definitely
it's
is.
sort of like a workshop.
It is. It really
yes.
is.
That's a great way. I like that description.
And
I
I,
mean,
really
I
want to
mean-
thank you for having it.
Yes.
Yes, not a problem.
Most welcome.
And like I say, it's getting. I think it's going to be bigger this year than it was last year, and hopefully the weather will be better this time. And
I mean, it may
but
not be so hot.
Well, that's one of the things I was looking forward to was quite a bonfire, but a nice big campfire with everybody sitting around there visiting. That's what I was really looking forward to, and we didn't get to do that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
A little
It
too
was
humid.
so wet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was very wet and very humid. I remember that.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
a little bit later in the year this time, so maybe we can.
It'll be better.
It'll be better for us.
Yeah, it's right there near my birthday. I want to
Okay.
remind
Cool.
I want to remind you both of that. You know,
Make
Michelle,
sure you have a cake.
I don't know if Anne mentioned that to you, but that's near my birthday. It's that weekend.
He'll be
We'll
about
all be
50. He'll be
saying happy birthday.
55.
I will be no such thing. I can't believe you
I
said
expect to
that.
see a pointed hat and a cake with candles. Yeah.
Perfect.
I will be 47. Thank you. My goodness, age me faster than I do.
I love you.
I remember being a youngster like that.
Shoot.
What's 47, Lord? I don't remember 47. Oh, the good old days, I guess.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. All right, Russell, Michelle, we're going to ask the next question of each of you individually.
And
Okay.
it's
All right.
it's going to be a question that will put this podcast to bed, so to speak.
Okay.
What monster, Russell, is under your bed?
You want to tell them about the time that the monster reached out and grabbed you. I mean, figuratively.
Come on.
Yeah,
Come on,
we
open up.
We was watching one of those
We were watching Ghost Hunters. Get it
no, it
right.
was the other one, the lady.
The lady. Oh, Amy?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was that one that I can't remember the name of the show, and really scary. And my son, without me knowing it, went in my bedroom and crawled under my bed. Our bed's about a foot off the ground or so. And Michelle came in and got in bed, and I came around the other side. And just as I was fixing to get in bed, he reaches out and grabs both my ankles.
Beautiful.
And I never danced so much and screaming and hollering and flopping. It was horrible.
And I know this isn't what y'all wanted to know, but
But for you to say the monster in the bed, I'll say that.
No, that's perfect.
I'll be
That's
honest
perfect.
with you. I didn't. That's, you know, I thought Matt's was creative, but this one tops it.
That's
What's the monster under your bed? It's my child.
Yes, my youngest son.
So
Lord.
let's go ahead and ask the same question of you, Michelle. Michelle, what is the monster under your bed?
monster under my bed. Let me see. Well, guys, to be truthful, I don't really think I have a monster under my bed.
Oh, that's a challenge.
I just now, if there's, I don't really think I have a monster under the bed, figuratively or any other way. But
Not even in the closet?
I am pretty grounded, I think. So
But like I say, we do respect each other's creepy feelings.
yes, that is
Yeah.
true.
And when she gets the creepy feeling whenever we're out somewhere, and she don't even want to roll the window down,
Yeah.
And I respect that. You know, it's just because sometimes I get it, sometimes she gets it, sometimes we both get it, sometimes neither one of us gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
I refer to
I'm
those
not
as
sure
the
what it's all about,
heebie-jeebies.
but
Mhm.
we respect it.
So Michelle has nothing she's secretly really afraid of.
I
And
see a challenge.
Russell is afraid of their children.
Especially that youngest one.
This
He's
is
a hoot.
such a normal married couple. Oh my
Have been for
goodness.
34 long
years.
After 34 years, nothing scares you.
No.
That's a good way to put it.
That's it.
Not enough people have any idea of who you really are. They just maybe have heard some names. And we appreciate
we sort of
you
like
opening
being
up.
the ones behind the camera.
Yeah. I love the fact that Ann's our MC at the conference. I mean, you know, any one of us could get up there and do that, but I'm with Russell. I like to be behind the scenes and being the runner, so to speak. If somebody
Right.
needs something, I mean, that to me is what makes a conference flow in a good way. You know, we just like to be there for our speakers and
Make
for the
our
public.
our vendors that got changed.
Exactly. So,
It's just anything. If we can come in and sit at the vending booth while they go to the restroom,
yeah.
so they, you know, anything that we can do to help out, it's just,
Yeah.
that's the way that makes us, you know, feel better than, I'm not real crazy about getting in front of a crowd.
But I will tell y'all this right quick.
Go ahead.
And we will be posting this on the Southeast Texas Bigfoot Conference page. I'm going to tell them. I'm telling them. On Friday night for the meet and greet dinner, we're going to have a Hawaiian luau.
Yay!
Now, before anybody says anything, we know there are no Bigfoot in Hawaii. But
Oh, I'll
But-
Google something up.
but we, you know, it's just the relaxation and the just getting to know you before the conference. It gives the speakers a chance to relax a little bit and, you know, and breathe. We're going to have hula maidens doing a dance. We're going to have fire dancers. And we might even have a traditional roasted pig. We're still in the planning stages. So it's going to be great. I will just tell you that.
Jennifer,
So,
wipe the drool from your mouth. It's she's getting
we're
excited.
going to have other foods, but I'm telling you, it's going to be fantastic. And we will be posting all this wonderful information here in the probably next week or so.
Okay.
And we will be putting tickets on sale very soon. It's just a little sneak peek. We already have an excellent lineup of speakers, including some unexpected things. So
Okay.
it's going to be great. So everybody just stay tuned for updates, I guess you could say, or keep checking back with the page. But I did want to let people know what we're going to do on Friday night with the meet and greet.
That's going to be awesome.
That
and
sounds
we
fantastic.
appreciate
We'll
it.
have lays and the grass skirts and the whole
Yep.
9 yards.
Y'all hear that? You go to Friday night of the conference, you're going to get laid.
Easy.
I could not resist. I'm sorry. I have the power of the edit button.
Now it's going to be hard to outdo the boat from last year or from this year,
Yeah.
but we're going to give it a shot and see if we can do it.
I mean, we're not trying to outdo each year. We just want everybody to come in, have a good time, to get relaxed before the conference is the next day, and you know,
Just have something different.
have something fun to do. So
That sounds like you have started the plans fantastically. On that note, I'd like to say aloha.
Aloha.
All right, y'all. Y'all have fun, and we're going to sign this podcast off now. So
Good night.
Good night.
all right, good night, y'all.
Good night.
Every cowboy, he always misses when he's aiming at the target in his head. And every broken man finds his idle hands grasping at tomorrow's promised land. And And I've been thinking about running, and I'll get out on the town just for myself. And that's when I saw her, and she looked right through me. And when I said I do that day, I really do. 'Cause every cowboy, he always misses his shot when he's aiming at the target in his head. And every broken man finds his idol hands, grasping at tomorrow's promised land. And I've been thinking about riding, and when I get the first draft back with no red ink, but I've been thinking to do my best work. Yeah, I've gotta leave this town to find my way. And when that plane touched down on that island town, I knew that my life's work was in their hands. So I started digging for wells of water, and I'm a hero in their eyes. It's clear to see. 'Cause every cowboy, he always misses his shot when he's aiming at the target in his head. And every broken man finds his idol hands, grasping at tomorrow's promised land. And I've been thinking about the time that I have wasted sitting here. 'Cause I've been thinking that all this thinking is the thing that keeps me further from myself.
The music and soundtrack for the opening is from Epic Film Score by Alex Kaskin. The closing credits are Every Cowboy by Cellophane Sam.